Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope everyone is happy and healthy today on this beautiful day of Flat Earth School. Just trying something different here. Hey everyone in the chat early. Jerry Snoke, how are you? Daly Jacobson, PJ Crookshank, Parkway. Thanks everyone for being here early. Really appreciate it. Guys, let me know if my audio is coming through all right. I'm trying something different here. Going through some streaming software. Hey James Mason, one of my awesome patrons. Keep it flat. Earth is flat. How are you? Good. Let me know if the audio is coming through good. Yeah, as I said, I'm trying out something different today. Trying some streaming software so I can add people to the live stream if they want to call in. The link is in the description. Let me know if it's not. I'll put it in there. I'll put it in. Actually, I'll put it in chat. Audio's good. Cool. All right, link is in the chat. Link is in the description. If anyone wants to call in, ask me some questions. Oxbow Spirit, good to see you. I'll try and look at the chat a lot more today. I know I neglect my chat sometimes. I just get off on tangents. I just start talking about our beautiful Flat Earth School. But today is just going to be a chill day. Just going to be sitting back, just viewing our beautiful Flat Earth School. I think the quality's not as good. It's not coming through as good. I think it's only 720p. And it probably scales it down when I go live anyway. I usually go direct from YouTube streaming. And the quality seems a little bit better than this. Let me know, guys, how is the quality coming through? Hopefully it's not too bad. Because this is nice scenery here today. I don't want to take anything away from this scenery. This picture here was pretty much the picture I put on my thumbnail today. This is called Hanging Rock Lookout. Obviously because there is a hanging rock right there with nothing underneath it. So like I said, guys, anyone want to call in? Anyone want to ask me questions? Looks fine to keep it flat. Earth is flat. Awesome. I've learned that this is a very popular time slot. Like I just picked this time slot to. Jerry Snake says, Mitchell, here's my question. You seem adamant that the sun and moon are not physical entities under our firmament. What is my evidence for this? So, the sun and the moon, we're told by the globe that they're physical things. Okay, so obviously everything in the globe model is bunk. So we have to start again. So we have to look at the sun, look at the moon, these things that we can definitely see, but can we ever go to them? Can we ever touch them? Can we ever get near them? Can we measure them? Everything that we see about the sun and the moon are apparent. And that's all we can ever extrapolate from them. They're apparent movements, apparent sizes. And even if you want to go further than that, you kind of have to have a physical assumption bias. Because if you say they have an actual size, then that needs to be physical. So, to the best of my understanding, to the best of my experience, I suppose, Jerry Snoke, I can't prove to myself, because that is the main thing here. I need to prove something to myself before I claim it. So I need to prove to myself that the sun and the moon are physical things, that they have physical attributes, and they can be physically interacted with. Now, I don't think that is possible to prove. Hey, Derek Nelson, how are you, mate? Dusty Ryder, one of my awesome patrons, how are you? Peter Fellows, good to see you guys. Jerry Snoke says, are clouds physical? Yeah, clouds are physical. We can definitely prove that clouds are things. They are in well, I suppose I was going to say they are in existence, but the sun is in existence. But whether the sun and the moon are same as clouds is different. It's like saying, is a rainbow a physical thing? That's how I put it. DJ One House Music, how are you? Like I said at the start of the stream, I have a link in the description. Got a link in. I'll put it in chat again for people who missed it, because I actually can chat in here as well. So I just put that link in the stream. If anyone wants to come on for a couple of minutes and just ask me some questions, just chill here with me. Anyone got some questions they want to actually talk to me about? There's the link for StreamYard. It's in the description. It's in the chat. So Jerry Snoke asked me, are clouds physical? Because then previously he asked me, are the sun and moon physical? I don't think the sun and moon are physical. They're not things we can reach, that we can get to, that we can measure. And then he asked, can are clouds physical? And I believe, yeah. Well, it's not belief. Clouds are physical things. Yeah, they're made up of matter from our world. Yeah, they're just condensed water vapor. So we can go to clouds, those things up there. We can go to the clouds. We can physically touch them. Yeah, we can get them all over ourselves. The clouds are on the ground. We can walk through clouds. We don't have to go up in the sky for clouds. But it is far different to something like the sun and the moon. I see the sun and the moon as something like a rainbow. Does a rainbow have a size? Is the rainbow physical? Does it have a distance? For me, rainbows, sun, moon, they're not physical things. They're just apparent things. That's all we can extrapolate from. Yeah, James Mason says mainstream science hates to say we don't know. Yeah. Keep it flat. Earth is flat. Says, can we capture a cloud? Yeah, we can definitely capture a cloud. You can grow a cloud in a jar. A cloud is just condensed water vapor. That's all it is. It's part of the water cycle. It is definitely a physical thing. It is just undergoing a phase change from gas to liquid. DJ One House Music says, can we talk more regarding geometric and optical horizons? Yeah, sure. If you want to come on, ask me a specific question. DJ One Deck House Music, the link is in the description. The link is in the chat. Anyone can join. I just want someone to join to make sure this actually works. Please join me. No, it's all right. I'm just out here chilling today. Just a chilling day. Haven't really got a subject. Taking calls if you guys want to call in. Link is in the description. Link is in the chat. Oxbow Spirit says the horizon is an apparent location. Jerry Snoke says, so you are claiming something that is not physical simply because you can't touch it. No. Jerry Snoke, I'm claiming it's not physical simply because we cannot go to it. We cannot go to physically measure it. For something to be physical, it has to be able to be touched, to be reached, to be measured physically. These things aren't physical things that we can touch, reach, measure physically. So that's why I claim they are not physical. It's not because I can't just touch it. It's because they're not physical things. That is just what a physical thing is. If it's physical, we can touch it. Dusty Rider. Oh, Brian Leakey. Hey, I'm just about to put you in the chat. Hang on. All right. Stream. Oh, Brian. Can you hear me?
I hear you. Let me adjust this, and you're probably getting.
Right. Hello, Brian. Whoop. Nope. Brian's left. Sorry, Brian. Try to join again. Jerry Smokey says you can't touch EMF either. So what is EMF? Electromagnetic frequency? Is it a physical thing? PJ Crookshank says, I agree, Mitchell. I think the sun and moon are holographic, so no physicality. Dusty Rise says, can we measure a rainbow? All right, Jerry. Brian, how are you, mate?
Hey there. Pretty good, man. You?
Good, good. Just out here, just viewing our flat earth school. Good to have you as my first official call-in person. Really appreciate it, mate. And appreciate you being a patron too. I really appreciate the support.
Yeah, man. Everybody, man. You know, support what you like or it'll go away.
Exactly.
Mitchell's out there doing the work. So a few bucks from everybody, man. And help keep it going, man.
Awesome plug. Thanks, Brian. What's going on, mate? Is there any questions you want to ask about our beautiful flat earth school?
I did, man. You know, I'm in the northern hemisphere, around about 30 north latitude in Florida. I'm gonna turn this camera off, man, if that's okay.
Yeah, cool. Yep.
Do they? Okay, so I was curious about the star trails in Australia. Do you know your latitude as far as your position or approximate?
Yeah, I'm about 35 degrees south latitude.
You're about 35 degrees south latitude. Okay, and when you see the stars down there, you know, I was just thinking. Okay, let me just fill you in on my thoughts. You know, every time I've ever seen the stars, they're moving pretty much east to west. But when I picture like a star trail, like if you were further south or if I was further north, to being like, say, me being under Polaris, okay, it would seem like you would see stars moving in different directions, like according to the time lapse. But I mean, I only see them ever moving in one direction. Is it the same thing down there in Australia?
Yeah, absolutely. All the stars that we ever see, all the celestial bodies, except for maybe the planets sometimes, but even from just during the night, as we see everything in the celestial plane above our heads, everything moves from the east, rises in the east, goes above our heads and sets in the west. Now, I can't see Polaris. Obviously, it is just too far away. So that would be the only thing that does not do that, does not move in that direction, if you will. And yeah, absolutely, things still act in that same movement, rise in the east, set in the west, here in the south.
Yeah, that's strange. Like when I think about a time lapse, like a star, like everything circling around Polaris, you would think I would see stars. Let's say you're looking at a time lapse from about 45 degrees. You got Polaris about 45 degrees, and you got stars like circling around it. If you were further north, you would see more of that circle, right? So then you would think you would see stars heading, the ones at the top heading to the right, and the ones at the bottom heading to the left. That's kind of what the star trail, when you see the complete picture, it kind of looks like that. But like I said, I only ever see them moving in one direction, period. Despite what the stars, I don't know. It's just kind of, I was just kind of sharing my confusion with you, man.
No, I get what you're saying. Because for me in the south here, I can see Sigma Octantis, which is just all it is just a blank patch in the sky, and it appears that all the stars rotate around that blank patch. So what you're saying is, for most things, we see everything rise in the east and set in the west, but for things that go around those 2 points of rotation, apparent rotation in the sky, you're saying that things don't set around those points of rotation. So you'll get stars from the top of the star trail, if you will. If you're looking through the camera, that's the top of the star trail. They'll come back around and appear to go back the other direction. Is that what you're saying? When they're going around?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was kind of thinking in my mind.
Yeah, so that everything is still moving in that same direction, whether it sets or not. That's just down to your individual location. If you move further north, you will see the Sigma Ortanis, just the black patch in the sky, and you will see the stars that rotate around that. They will absolutely set as you move north. So everything is moving in the same direction, but it doesn't mean that everything is actually. I probably did misspeak. I said that everything.
Oh, that's
rises.
actually one of the best answers I've got, man. Yeah, go on.
I did say everything rises in the east and sets in the west. That is the direction that everything takes. So everything is going from east to west. If you get what I say, it is all one direction of movement. But
I hear the birds in the background, man. You give the best landscape, man. Shout out, man. And I see you debate Mr. Sensible, and he's pretty knowledgeable on the globe mumbo jumbo, man. But I see you rip him apart, man. I went on a debate here recently on modern day debates, and debated him. And
cool.
I mean, he's a laid back guy, so he's easy to debate. But you know, there's just some things to me they claim they have an answer for everything, but some of them are just not adequate, man. Like the star trails. You know, I'm to stay on the subject. I went into Stellarium, and Stellarium just pretty much showing, you know, what we see, and it shows the stars coming in from the bottom. Okay, if you face where I'm at, if you face east, you see the stars coming up from the horizon, right? And as they're getting higher in your field of view, deviating away from each other just a tiny little bit. It's ever so slight, but even Stellarium shows it. But then you turn around and look west where they set, and they continue deviating. So people have tried to say that that's like a fisheye lens or perspective, and I'm like, you know, even Stellarium shows this, and it's all going in one direction. So from the moment it comes up from the east, they start deviating just a teeny tiny little bit. It's so slight you'd never notice it without time lapse. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it's very possible, man, that there's, you know, multiple star trails. You know, it's nothing I'd ever be able to prove for certain, but to me, it's good evidence that y'all have y'all's own rotation down there. I'm trying to figure it out and put it together. That's why I like asking questions.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Mr. Sensible, he asked me explain why we have 2 points of stellar rotation, and that's not something that needs to be explained. It is something that we absolutely see in our world. I see being in the south, we have a point of rotation in the southern sky, and being in the north, you guys have a northern rotation in the sky. So that doesn't. Now, what they want you to go on to believe is those 2 points of rotation are an axis for their globe to spin around. That's where they want you to go, and they say, and they continue and say, well, we've got an explanation of why we have 2 points of stellar rotation. Now, on your flat Earth, that can't be possible. You guys don't have an axis. You guys don't spin. So why do we see 2 points of stellar rotation on the Earth? And I replied, I don't have an explanation because I'm not making a claim about it. All we see is what is in reality. So we see everything in the sky, coming from east to west. That is just the direction, the relative direction, because it's not an absolute direction. I'll go over that in a second. But yeah, everything we see in the sky, is absolutely traveling from east to west in that direction. Whether it be, if you're looking north, it's going to be clockwise or anti-clockwise, and south is going to be the opposite. I can't remember which one it is. It doesn't really matter because it's all relative. And they're saying that if you're looking north, you're looking at one end of the axis, and then you turn around, you're looking south, you're looking at the other end of the axis, and that is totally bunk. There is no evidence, there is no proof that we are moving at all. Like, I challenge anyone.
I agree to that.
I challenge anyone to find something natural that has an axis, something that just spins around an axis. There is no naturally occurring axes because there's no naturally occurring spinning objects. That it just does not happen. It does not. There is nothing in our natural world that naturally just keeps spinning, that has an axis, that just keeps going. Like, it's not something that is physically, mechanically, even observably possible in our natural world. Anything that has an axis is a man-made thing. And to assert that you have an explanation for why we see those things in the sky, the celestial bodies, the things that we can never get to, that we can never measure, we can never touch, feel, get a distance to, that they are, to me, they're intangible things. They cannot be proven to be physical. So for them to say, explain why we see those things, it doesn't need explanation. It just happens, and it always does happen.
That's another good point, man. Like even in their own world, where you look at the three astronauts at Apollo 11, and the one man, I forgot his name, Collins, the guy who didn't go supposedly step on the moon, he just circled around the moon the whole time. And in the interview, they asked him, you know, did you see the stars, you know, on the way to the moon or any? And he's like, I don't remember seeing any, which is a big problem for them. And that supports what you're saying. They're up there. And I've heard, you know, a lot of people claim that they start fading out around 60, 70,000 feet, which I have no reason to disbelieve that. But yeah, that's a good explanation, man. I started off with Mr. Sensible, like asking him, like, would you agree that the stars deviate to the right toward the northern hemisphere and toward the left toward the southern hemisphere? He's like, yeah. And then I mentioned, you know, about measuring the deviation. He's like, oh, whoa, no, you know, like he's right off the beginning of the debate, he's stomping on his words, because that's a problem. I think of it like maybe if you know, if you did want an explanation, like I'm kind of searching for, the best I've come up with is like the torus field, you know. It's also has the two rotation type of thing, you know. But yeah, it's just the way you described it with a rainbow. That's perfect, man. So shout out. One other thing, man.
Go for it.
I don't know if you ever watch Brandon's, man. It's right after your show during weekdays, but I'll give you some shots out, man. And if you ever get a chance, though, you got to come on and chat, man. We'd love to have you. I'm sure Brandon would love to have you.
Yeah, sure. I'll definitely come on one day when I've got a bit of time afterwards. I'm usually racing home to go and get the kids breakfast, but I can definitely make some time.
Join, but we'd love to have you one time, Mitchell. If you ever get a chance.
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. Yeah, thanks for the invitation. I'll definitely join one day when I've got a bit of time. As I was trying to say, then I'm usually racing home straight after my show to go and get the kids some breakfast and get the day started and take the pressure off my wife, because they homeschool and they go a bit feral in the morning. It takes two of us to wrestle the 5 kids. So yeah, absolutely, Brian. Thanks for the invitation. I'll drop into Brandon's. I didn't realise that it was straight after my show. Yeah,
it's at 5:05. It's usually about 4 days a week, so if you don't see it one day. But yeah, I'm gonna allow whoever else wants to join, man. And yeah, shout out, man. I love what you're doing, man. We stand behind you. We're pulling for you, and keep up the good work, brother.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Brian. So what is Brandon's channel? Do you want to give him a plug?
It's just called Brandon's.
Brandon's, cool.
Capital B RANDON apostrophe S, Brandon's show.
Cool. Everyone, look up Brandon's show on YouTube channel. Brandon, what is it? Straight after mine, is it?
Yep, it starts at 5:05. Of course, that's Eastern. So, well, let me ask one more question for you. What time is it where you're at right now?
It is 6 a.m. at the moment, but we're going to be it's a weird time of year because like the daylight savings thing, we're about to go into daylight savings next week or on the weekend. So yeah, I hate talking about times this time of year, and it's going to be a bit of an effort to work out a schedule for when I'm going to be doing these shows. So.
Well, look, man, we have really, really enjoyed these sunrises, man. They are freaking awesome. And during the equinox, man, yeah, man, I could keep going on and on, man. I really, I love talking with you. And man, you have a lot of knowledge, man, and a great insight on the simplicity of it all, man. But yeah, if you get a minute, stop in, and I'm gonna keep watching. I got something I got to do, but man, yeah, once again, keep up the good work, brother.
Thanks, Brian. Really appreciate it, man. Appreciate the support. Thanks for being a patron. Catch you, mate. And that was Brian Leakey. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your last name right, Brian. He is regularly on Brandon's show. Look up Brandon straight after this show on YouTube. I have watched their show a few times. They do some fantastic shows. So I encourage everyone to go and subscribe to Brandon's. All right. What's been going on in the chat? I'll go back to what Jerry Snake was saying. To claim something is not physical just because you can't touch is ridiculous. Not saying you're wrong, just needs a better reason. All right, so Jerry Snake, if you're okay, there's someone. Sorry, I'll bring whoever else. Sacred. No, I'll add you to the stream. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Flat Earth School. Who have I got here on the line?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
Good. I'm just trying to figure this thing out. I've never used it before.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure it out too. It seems to be going all right. I've just had a call from Brian Leakey. Now I've got you on the line. I can hear you loud and clear. Where are you coming in from today? What part of our beautiful Flat Earth School do you reside?
I'm in Southern California.
SoCoast. Nice. How is the weather there? Is it hot?
It's been hot, but it started cooling off finally. So it's down in like the mid 70s. It's nice now.
Beautiful. Yeah, love those temperatures. You just sit back outside and not have to worry about many clothes, jumpers. As soon as the sun goes here, it is freezing still. Like it's nice and warm during the day. We've got really nice temperatures during the day, almost like summer temperatures. But as soon as the sun goes behind clouds, even and then sets, it is just freezing. How are you, mate? What can I do for you today? You got any questions?
Well, you're in Australia, right?
Correct.
Oh, well, no, I could think of plenty of things, but I just saw the link and I tried it. I didn't know it was going to bring me straight to you, so and be talking to you automatically.
Cool, man. You're just testing it out. I appreciate you testing it out. Yeah, well, it definitely works. Yeah, so the link is for anyone to call in if they want to talk to me directly. I just wanted to try it out today. It might be a regular thing I start doing. People can call in, ask me some questions, just ask me to... Yeah, sorry, mate.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea. Just let them know that the minute if they click all the way through, they'll be right at, you'll be talking, There's I was wondering if it's a video feed too. It gave me a choice if I wanted the camera. So does that work too?
What was that question about the video? Sorry, you're cutting out a little bit.
Well, one thing is I can't figure out how to put it on, if I'm on speakerphone or what, but can you hear me better now? Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, you seem to be coming through. Probably the first time. Yep.
Oh, okay. Then probably I need.
You come through there, anyway. Kind of cutting out a little bit. It may be your reception. You need pretty good service reception for your mobile if you're on mobile to kind of get through.
I'm just trying to figure out which one to speak into. I'll just talk into both of them. So what do you think about? I think that the sun. I heard this guy give his theory on it, and it made a lot of sense to me. And I'm pretty sure there's a dome because of rainbows. They're a good indicator of a dome. But the sun, focal point of light. So like if you take a magnifying glass and you make a focal point of light, that's what the dome does. So there's like a big light source above it, like a more robust light source above the dome, and then it gets focused into a sense of you have that.
I think you may be cutting out a little bit. It may be your reception.
Can I just respond?
Can I just respond to what you?
Well, I wanted to
just said
add
about
the
dome?
golden.
Okay.
The golden time in the morning. You know about the golden time in the morning?
the golden time? What do you mean about the
Yeah.
golden time?
In the morning at around 6, before the sun comes up, there's no shadows, but the whole sky's lit up and there's no shadows. That's the golden time. They call that in Hollywood golden time because they can get a good footage at that time.
Yeah, right.
So that's
okay. I'm gonna have to look at that a bit more. Before the sun comes up, there's no shadows. Are you saying there's just like an ambient light?
Yeah, and it's a great time. But there's no light source, so we don't know where's the light coming from. Well, it's coming from above us. But it's weird, you know. It's just there's light. So the sun is not the source of the light, but it is a condensed focal point of all that light, and that's what the sun is. And it's created by the dome. And I was wondering what you thought about that theory because it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, look, it can make all the sense in the world, but to me, to assert there's a dome, a physical shape encapsulating us, I just can't. I haven't found any proof or evidence. I don't know if there is actual physical proof that we do have a dome. Obviously, we are contained, but whether it be a shape, a dome, like I don't want to shoot down what you're saying here. It's great people putting things forward. Like obviously they're looking at the world around them, and it may come from the bibliology, whatever it is, from the Bible. You know, studies from the Bible. Is that where this is kind of coming from, or is it more of an observation based?
No, I see rainbows, and I see what's happening is a reflection. So what is the reflection? Why is it so perfectly arced? If you see a full rainbow, it's a perfect arc. And the size is irrelevant because like the sun and like the moon and like everything, its size is dependent on our position. It's all an optical illusion up there. So the rainbow, I think it's a reflection, and it's reflecting the dome. That's the only possible thing it could be. You know, that's as far as I'm concerned.
Have you ever seen a rainbow like just in your backyard with a garden hose or a sprinkler when you've got kind of fine mist? There's kind of a rainbow you can create just in your own backyard.
Yes, you need if you do it inside, you need some kind of a not glass, but you need like something a polarizer, right?
Well, it's pretty much.
You need water, a light.
What a rainbow
and a
is pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty much just refraction. So the light is just refracting in all directions of the water droplets, and that's how I understand rainbows are formed. Now, whether that is anything to do with a dome, I don't think it, because we can create rainbows without the need of a round surface, if you will, like a dome shape. You can just do it like I said, in your backyard with water droplets. I'm not shooting down the whole dome thing, but I haven't seen evidence to point me that there is a physical shape.
I've seen a guy doing a lot of videos on it, and it made sense. You need three things: you need water, you need moisture, you need a light, and you need a reflector, a clear reflector. So usually the rainbows that he would make outside, you have the dome upstairs, up above us. That's the reflector. That's what's creating it in your backyard. But inside, you won't get a rainbow unless you have those three things. And the rainbow shape, the optical illusion will be dependent on what you use as a reflector.
So are you saying even in my backyard, when I see a rainbow, it is still the dome creating that rainbow when I'm using like a garden hose?
Exactly. You have a reflector. It's the big reflector above us.
Well, the way I might have to try to do it inside. Yeah, that might be an idea. So you can get a rainbow inside with. It's going to be hard because you're going to want to isolate. I suppose you can't really use the sun because the sun is coming from outside, and you could still assert that the dome.
No, you want to get out. You want to recreate it completely. So you have to be in a closed off room and have a light source, your own light source, and your own moisture, and something to reflect it. And that's how you will create the rainbow. And it won't be a perfect rainbow because it'll be dependent on what you use to reflect it. That's what it'll look like. Most of the time, it'll just be in the water mist. But the one we see outside is a perfect arc. So that's why that's an indicator of a reflection off of something that's a perfect arc.
Hey, look, I really appreciate your opinion on this, and it's something that I think I'm going to have to go and test for myself. I'll try and recreate a rainbow inside in an enclosed environment, totally blocked off from the outside, and see if I can make a rainbow. My understanding of how a rainbow is made is just refraction off the water droplets. It's kind of like the water droplets are acting as prisms, the fine mist, and just the light source is kind of refracting off them to make the rainbow. But it's, yeah, I appreciate your opinion on it. I
Yeah,
personally don't.
You need a reflector too, though.
So you're saying that just with water droplets and a light, are you saying that I cannot create a rainbow?
You can create one outside because you have the dome above you to reflect it. That's what's creating it.
But inside, if I was just using just a fine mist like a hose and a light source, you don't think I can create a rainbow?
No, not without the third property. Yeah. Watch videos on it. Try to find some videos. You'll see people doing it indoors.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to have to test it out. But I
just something
to
think about.
Absolutely. Like it's a dome is not something I like to claim. Okay, there's plenty of flat earthers that would love to claim it. They think they have evidence for it. They're proof for it. But for me, I can't find evidence, like solid evidence that I'm willing to stand behind, because that's what it's about for me, to prove to myself that thing exists. Like, we're definitely contained. That is obvious. We have gas pressure. We're definitely contained. That is the necessary antecedent to have gas pressure. But for me, anyway, my opinion is, if you're going to claim something like a physical dome, you have to have a bit more tangible evidence, I guess.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. But yeah, I really appreciate your opinion on rainbows. It's something I'm going to have to look into.
Just remember though, the dome, if it is a dome, it's huge in comparison to us. So what we see of it is totally dependent on perspective, and it's an optical illusion usually, because it's a huge dome. So it really creates very strange, like, perspective phenomenon. The dome does. Yeah. But if it is a dome, it's going to make us look tiny within it. You understand?
I understand where you're coming from. I really appreciate it. I agree that the rainbows are definitely optical illusions. They're not something that's physical. That I was about to say, it's not something you can reach, that you can touch. I don't think you can't touch a rainbow. It is an optical illusion. But I just want to share. Unless you had another question, I'll probably drop you from the call. Was there any other questions you wanted?
Yeah, I want to drop, but I want to say one last thing. You should research mountains are melted buildings. Research When the Buildings Cried on YouTube, because even the big mountains, the giant peaks, they used to be pyramids. They got destroyed. They're ruins, and that's the big subject. It's amazing.
Cool. I appreciate your putting me onto these subjects. So
there's a YouTube channel called When the Buildings Cried. Check it out. Just on Facebook, we have the group called Mountains Are Melted Brick Buildings. Just look at mountains from a different perspective, because they're not what we think, what we've been told.
Cool. All right, I appreciate your
we live in a pan. And the pan got flooded. So a lot of the we can see these arches underwater, under the oceans. We see a lot of temples and mountains that used to be temples. Something happened here, so I'm really on that. I'd like to talk to you a lot about it more.
Yeah, definitely another time. Yeah, come on my stream. I'll try and be doing these call-in shows regularly. So yeah, definitely drop in another time. So
all right, brother. Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
See you, mate. Bye.
Peace.
So a thing that I was going to share with you guys was, I've always been told, I've always been under the impression that you cannot get to a rainbow. You can't go through a rainbow. A rainbow is always going to be, if you're looking at the sun, the rainbow is always going to be behind you. But just something I want to share with everyone. I have actually experienced, like, this is long before. This is when I was a teenager. I wasn't looking into anything. I was just just going about my day. I was actually driving back to work. I was on lunch break, so I suppose the sun was kind of above my head, but I was driving and I saw a rainbow and it was going across the road. And as you approach rainbows, obviously you expect them to appear to move further away from you. But this rainbow, it was just staying there. It wasn't moving. It was just staying there, and I drove straight through the rainbow. It was the most unbelievable thing that I have ever experienced, other than the birth of my children. That is just that is just if anyone hasn't experienced childbirth, it just is mind blowing. It is amazing, but I really shouldn't put going through a rainbow up there with this. But like, yeah, I'm definitely not experiencing childbirth is probably the most amazing experience you can ever experience. But other than something like that, having the birth of your kids, just being there with your partner, experiencing that, going through a rainbow for me is just something that was kind of I can't explain. It's never happened again. I've never seen a rainbow not move away from me other than that one time. So what are you guys' thoughts? Like, yeah, it's kind of unbelievable to me. If I didn't experience it myself, I definitely wouldn't believe someone could do that. Like, yeah, to go through a rainbow, because yeah, what I understand about rainbows, they're just holograms. They're just an optical illusion. It is all due to the observer's perspective, and that's what I experienced. Don't know. It's up to you guys if you want to believe it or not. I really don't care. But I just want to share that. That's my experience. I've driven through a rainbow. I really wish I could have stopped and just kind of stood there and just looked around. But it was on the highway, busy highway, so it wasn't just me experiencing this thing. It was a lot of other people. I don't know what it means, whether it means anything, whether anyone else has experienced that. I want to know if anyone else has experienced like being able to go through a rainbow. I'd say there's probably not many people, but if there is, email me at mitchellfromaustralia@gmail.com. All right, enough on this. Brian Licky says he drove through a rainbow, then looked back at it. Swear to God, yeah, Brian. Whoops. This is Brian's comment. He drove through a rainbow, then looked back at it as well. Awesome, Brian. That is really cool. I'm gonna have to talk to you about this more, Brian. Arwen says holographic, a picture of light, non-physical orientation, manifestation. Yeah, that's exactly my sentiment on rainbows too, Arwen. I agree. They're just a manifestation, non-physical orientation, picture of light. Yep, I agree. But I can't explain why. And Brian just said he's driven through a rainbow as well. Like, this is, it's really cool. I don't know. I can't explain it. Yeah. Anyone else driven through a rainbow like me and Brian? Oh man, it was trippy. I don't know why it happened. I don't know how it happens, but yeah, that's just what I experienced. Doesn't mean it means anything. So I think it's a pretty energetic chat today. And Light and Patriot, how are you? Thanks for being here. Arwen, thanks for being here. Andrew Calvert. There was some questions that I did see in the chat before. Can't find them. All right, so now is the time. I haven't got anyone on the line at the moment. Now is the time to post some questions if you did ask questions before on whatever it is. Bill Hesford said he thinks a rainbow could be created indoors. Could be wrong. Yeah, well, it's something that I haven't even considered. Creating a rainbow inside, completely blocked off from outside there. I really appreciate people's opinions on the dome, but I'm not going to be punting a dome. I don't think there's a dome. I don't think there's a physical thing up there. I think it kind of it just goes into all different directions. Then it just opens you to a lot of criticism, and that's not why I don't want to talk about a dome. I don't want to talk about a dome because I don't believe there's a dome. That is just, it is, to me, it's something you have to believe because it's not something that anyone can get to. We are definitely contained. But to say there is a dome, yeah, that's putting a lot of certainty about what could be up there. And I don't think we can ever get that high to experience anything like that. I just think whatever we see, this is all there is that we can experience. I don't know how far the Earth goes, but we can absolutely measure it flat using the sextant. It is measurably, navigatably, obviously, observably flat. And we are definitely enclosed. We have gas pressure. Oh, I'll go back down in the DRTRH. Asks, how do I think the stars maintain their fixed position, whatever they may be? The stars, it's another good subject, isn't it, that we were talking about before. How do they maintain a fixed position? Well, not to kind of shoot your question down, but the stars don't really maintain a fixed position. If by that you mean their orientation to other things like other stars, yeah, absolutely. They, relative to other stars, a thing I want to share with you guys is if you watch night sky, if you take a picture of the night sky when it just goes, whenever you can see things in the sky like stars, the moon, whatever, if you can take a picture at the start of the night and then take a picture at the end of the night just before dawn when you can still see those objects, compare those two pictures. Obviously, they're going to be kind of, yeah, depending on which way you're looking. If you're looking east and then west, they're going to be upside down. Just that's just how you will see those two relative directions. But compare the stars, the relative positions of the stars to each other. Nothing has moved throughout the night. Compare pictures of the moon from the start to the end of the night, and it's really interesting doing it when it's longer. When you have a really long night, like around your winter solstice, whenever that is, when you can have really, really long nights, the phase of the moon doesn't change either. Just kind of think about that. The orientation of everything in the sky stays exactly the same throughout the entire night. It is only upon the next night that we view something that has changed, something is different. BMLSB69 did a great video on this about parallax of Jupiter and Saturn around the Great Conjunction. When everyone was looking at Jupiter and Saturn, they were really close to each other, and he was doing some great footage of throughout the night of Jupiter and Saturn being exactly the same orientation all throughout the night. Now, these are things in the heliocentric model that are physical, yeah, that are spherical, that have different distances to each other. And that's the key here. In the heliocentric model, those two things, the planets, that they're called planets, yeah, Jupiter and Saturn, they have different distances to each other. And if we are rotating, as we're looking at those two things during the night, they have different distances, we would absolutely see parallax between those two things, meaning the relative position between Saturn and Jupiter would have to change throughout the night if they were physical things with physical different distances. And in the heliocentric model, there is a vast distance between them. Obviously not as much as the stars, but going on from that thought, so the planets are relatively close compared to the stars. Why do we not see stellar parallax throughout the night between planets, what is called a planet like Jupiter and Saturn, and the stars? Because they are, trillions of light years away? Trillions of miles, I don't know, light years. It doesn't really matter. They're just arbitrary distances. There's not really any meaning to them. There's no backing to that. I can go through how we got distances of things, but at the moment, just think about parallax. When you have something in the foreground, like those trees. Like I'll give you an example. Look at this tree right here, okay? And then I'm going to move and look at the mountain. The tree will appear to move at a faster rate to the mountain. The mountain's just staying there, and look at the tree. The tree is appearing to move relative to the mountain, and so is the rock. The rock's in the foreground. That was great, actually. This is a great demonstration. So the rock here is in the foreground. The tree is in kind of, I'd say, middle ground, and the mountain in the background. All right? Look at the parallax when we move. So the rock has an exaggerated apparent motion relative to the tree and to the mountain, and the tree has less of an apparent relative movement relative to the rock and the mountain, and the mountain doesn't move. Now, into imagination land here, the heliocentric model, that is a star, okay? Imagine that mountain is a star, and something like this is Saturn and Jupiter, all right? So they're different distances apart in the heliocentric model, and a star is way off in the distance, all right? So we should see these two things, between these two things here, just pretend that's Saturn and Jupiter, we should definitely see parallax. They're different distances relative to each other throughout the night as we move. It's asserted that we move. You should see parallax, and compare these two things should have a big parallax compared to that. All right, let's see what happens. Yeah, that's what we should see in the night, throughout the night, but we never ever see it. From the start of the night to the end of the night, we never ever see any relative change in the celestial bodies. DRTRH says they reset every year. They maintain their orientation to each other and to us. 10 p.m. Jan 9th, 2001, 2000. Yeah, yep. Okay, so that's what you mean. So how do they maintain their orientation to each other? Like a cycle. Yeah, DRTRH says, yeah, they are the same. I have no freaking idea. One could assume a dome. Yeah, look, you can assume whatever you want, but I'm all about our kind of our reality that we can prove. There are things that we can just observe and just appreciate that they're there, and they're always there, like the stars. Yeah, the stars for me are, well, there are a couple of things now that you realize that they can be used for navigation. I'll get into that after, but the stars are definitely, for first and foremost, a clock. They're a year clock, an annual clock. An annual clock that they do reset. Well, I don't know, reset's kind of a word where it kind of gets to a point and then it jumps back to a point. It's a cycle. So I suppose, well, if you go from, the 1st of January to the 1st, I don't even know, actually. Is the Gregorian calendar, I do know. I just want other people to look into it for themselves. Is the Gregorian calendar a true representation of a full cycle of the stars? I don't think that it is. It is not a true representation of a full cycle of the stars. The true year, you have to go by the actual stars. So a full cycle of the stars is when you see a star in an orientation, and then like 300 and whatever something days, I don't know exactly what the time period is, but when you see that star in the exact same orientation, that is a full year. That is the only thing that we should be using for a year. A month should be going by the moon. That's what it traditionally was, a month cycle of the moon. And there's traditionally 13 cycles in a celestial plane year. So there'll be 13 cycles of the moon in that one cycle of the stars. And so that's the months, the moon, the stars are the year, and the sun is obviously the day. And that is the only clock that we should be going by. All right, we'll keep going down. Coriolis, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a member on my YouTube channel. You can join as a member on my YouTube channel. Really appreciate the support. Please join as a patron. I really appreciate the support too. I haven't got the names of everyone at the moment. I'm really, really sorry. I can't bring it up at the moment because I'm actually using my iPad, which I've logged into Patreon. I really appreciate everyone's support because I'm doing this for a living now. I'm doing this. I try and do this every day. Well, 5 days a week minimum. Maybe some streams on the weekend with moon rises, moon sets, and that sort of stuff. But I really appreciate the support from everyone. Smash the super chat. I can't see if that's the only thing about this StreamYard. I don't think I could see if I have any super chats. I really apologize if I do. I'm going to have to go back and give you a special shout out tomorrow if I do have any super chats. I'm totally e-begging here, but this is something that I enjoy doing. Yeah, Owen says agree. The year should be 13 months, 13 moons. Yep, going by the months, going by the moon. Brian says, yeah, there could be a dome. It's an interesting subject. Definitely, it's an interesting subject. Daily Plane says no dome. Reels Effect says, yeah, spot on, brother. Keep up the good work and spread the truth. Yeah, well, it's for me, truth is something that I can verify it to be true. So when we're talking about something like a dome, I can't verify that to be true. I can't. I have to see a lot more evidence. I can't. It's not a physical container to me. Our world is all there is. It doesn't have to be a container because is there something on the other side of the container? Is there something on the other side of the dome? I don't. That doesn't need to be. This is all there is. Like that, you have to really detach yourself. Arwen says, support Mitchell. He has a family to feed. Don't we all? And support Arwen too. Subscribe to Arwen, ARWIJN, Flat Earth Early Bird. Does an awesome show every single day for the past 3 years? Good stuff, Arwen. Really appreciate it. I've got someone else in the... Whoop. Try and bring you into the stream here. Hey, Bill, is it? Good to have him.
Hello, guys.
Hey, can you hear me, Bill?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, mate. How are you? I've got about 6 minutes. What can I do for you?
Do you guys really believe that the Earth is flat?
It's not a belief. So no, I don't just believe the Earth is flat. I can physically prove using the sextant that the Earth is flat.
Oh my God, man! You know?
Do you
I
believe
use
that?
crack, and I don't even believe that. I use crack cocaine all the time, and I don't even believe that.
You use what all the time?
Crack cocaine.
You use cocaine.
Yeah, I smoke it, and I don't even believe that stuff.
All right, so okay, so you believe you live on a globe. Have you got one evidence for living on a globe? Just give me one.
Oh, but it is a globe.
Yeah, well, that's begging the question. You have to prove.
I flew around it.
Can you give me an evidence that we are living on a globe? Because I can give. I had a whole show yesterday on flat Earth proofs.
I can give you some crack.
Will that help me believe that I'm on a globe? Is that the only way we can prove that we're on a globe? Having some cocaine.
But it's awesome.
I'm giving you 10 seconds to give me one globe proof. Otherwise, you go on, mate.
I'm going. Bye.
All right. Smoking cocaine is the only way you can believe that you're living on a globe. I love that. Thank you, Baller Bill, whoever you were. This is what happens when you talk to globe believers. Jim Bob's coming in. Jim Bob, are you a globe or a flat earther? What can I expect from you, mate?
Well, no. I mean, I'm not flat earther like that.
Okay.
I was just wondering. You said you had evidence about it being flat, but just out of curiosity, in a vacuum, why do things not turn into a disc and they turn spherical? Have you ever seen that? When they're introduced into a vacuum, I mean, it creates a sphere. Well, not necessarily a perfect sphere because people think the Earth's like a circle, but it's really not. It's more like like a blobby circle-like shape. So when that happens in a vacuum, and it can be replicated over and over again, like that's the natural state of something in a vacuum, and we know that there's a vacuum in space.
I like what you said there, a natural state. So is a vacuum a natural state? Is that something that naturally occurs on Earth?
Not on Earth, in space. That's where the Earth exists, inside space.
So what is space? Is that a vacuum? Is that a space for the gas that we breathe that it would fill if given that space?
Is that a what? Sorry.
Space is space being a sky vacuum. Is that a space for gas that we breathe to fill?
Our atmosphere and gravity holds in the air that we breathe. And are you asking how we survive on the planet in a vacuum? Because of an atmosphere, because of pressure, because of a magnetic pole. That's why Mars doesn't have any life on it, because the magnetic pole is weak and it can't hold an atmosphere.
Okay. Let's not scattergun. Let's keep on one thing. So space. So why is the gas that we breathe here not following entropy? Why is it not obeying natural laws that happen and never not observed to happen? Why is the gas that we breathe not going to space? Are you saying gravity?
No, I'm saying magnetic fields, and
Magnetic
gravity
field. That's
affects it.
a new
Yes,
one.
but it's magnetic field that actually holds our atmosphere and shields us from the cosmic winds from the sun to blow our atmosphere off. It's magnetic field that protects us. Without that, we wouldn't have shit. This planet
Do
wouldn't, we wouldn't be able to sustain life.
you
It's all
realize
about that
that
magnetic
claim?
field.
Do you realize like that claim it just pisses in the face of every single natural law
Not
to
a
do with
claim.
gas? It's definitely a
But
claim
it's
because
not. It's not a claim.
can you show us gas pressure existing without a container? Because your globe isn't contained, right? It is free. The gas pressure is
Yeah,
free
it's
to
contained
extend.
by a magnetic field. Do you not understand how a magnetic field works? A magnetic
think you-
field can contain anything.
A
It's a
magnetic.
force.
Is
Yeah.
there any evidence that you can put forward to show us that a magnetic field
Science?
can contain? What do you mean science?
Science?
Okay, let's put it through the scientific method.
There's a whole
Step
bunch
one.
of papers on it. Like we've known
Okay,
this for
we've
centuries.
got a claim. We've got a claim
Are
of
you
science.
just forgetting everything? No, it's not a
No,
claim. It's
let's
scientific
go
fact.
Let's go through it. We've got a claim of science. So what is the dependent variable? What is the observed natural phenomenon for what you say is happening? What do we observe?
The fact that we're alive in the solar system and the other planets aren't sustaining life. The only difference is that they're either too far from the sun to get enough heat to sustain life. They don't contain water, or they don't have a strong enough magnetic field to hold in an atmosphere.
Let's go through the claim of science. So the dependent variable that you said, the observed natural phenomenon, is that we're alive. Okay, so what's causing that? What is the cause to us being alive?
Are you asking me what the cause for you being alive because you were born?
Because we were born. Yeah, what's that got to do with gas pressure being maintained by a magnetic field? That's what
it allows us to exist on this planet in the state that we're in. I mean, obviously things could maybe be sustainable and we're not aware of it in conditions on other planets because life finds a way. That's just the way it works. I mean, we find life in all kinds of extreme environments on planet Earth, so it only makes sense that there would be some type of microbial life somewhere else. I mean, just a matter of opinion or finding
1 minute,
it.
So I really appreciate your call.
Can you call back tomorrow? I appreciate you too. I just never understood why y'all think it's flat when it there's so much science behind it. Like your claims are retarded. A sextant doesn't prove that.
Okay, I think you need to call back earlier in the show tomorrow. I have to end my live stream very soon.
What time do you do it? What time do you do it?
What time zone are you?
I'm on East Coast. East Coast. It's 5 o'clock.
Okay, so Central Time it will be 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Central. So if you can join early in the show tomorrow, I'll love to have a discussion with you. At the moment, I'll just okay, cool. So that claim right there, for it to be science, we have to observe gas pressure being maintained. But really, we have to observe gas pressure, okay, existing. And the cause of the gas pressure needs to be the magnetic field. Okay, so that's what we need. If you're asserting that magnetic fields are the reason why we have gas pressure, that is the hypothesis. Yeah, the dependent variable being gas pressure, the independent variable being the magnetic field. Okay, the cause of the gas pressure being magnetic field. Let's put that through a hypothesis. That is the hypothesis. And let's put it through a hypothesis test, an experiment. How are we going to manipulate the magnetic field to? This is just a cluster screw, man. Arwen says maybe Mitchell is trying to be the next Nathan Oakley. No, I'm just going like, Arwen, are you trying to say that I'm making Nathan Oakley and quantum eraser arguments? No, they're genetic fallacies, mate. Don't get me started on that, Arwen. Don't appreciate it. No. I know, you're pulling my chain, mate. Oh, man. This is what you got to do. You got to make them, the globe believers, have a claim. We had a claim a bit earlier that smoking cocaine causes you to believe in the globe. And then we had a claim that gas pressure is caused by magnetic field, is contained by a magnetic field. Yeah, so they're claims that you need to back up. If you're claiming science, you need to put it through the scientific method. That is just the man. Owen doesn't see why I would indulge these numpties. Well, I'm just asking people to call in. Give me your 2 cents, and I'll give you my 2 cents. Yeah, we're just talking about our flat Earth school. All right. So if you want to call in, I'm probably going to do this again. It was good fun, and I hope Jim Bob, we'll call back tomorrow and we'll go through some different things. And it is just a good example of how to deal with these claims of the globe, because there are no evidences or proofs of a globe. All right, thank you. 51 in the chat. I really appreciate you guys turning up. I think you probably just came in from Cornwall Races stream. I'm probably a sloppy seconds here at the moment, but I've got to end my stream. I've got to go home and do some things. I really appreciate everyone joining me on our beautiful Flat Earth School this morning here, evening or night, wherever you guys are. If you feel like the world turns on you, turn to Flat Earth School. It is around us 24/7 since the beginning of existence. I've been Mitchell from Australia, just a student like you guys, just experiencing our Flat Earth School. Until next time, guys, I really appreciate it. See you same time tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK, 6 a.m. Australian. See you guys.